Okay, I'm gonna try this again. This is gonna be my second attempt of making some sort of video content. The first time I was recording, but I messed up the recording. So hopefully this goes better. If not, it's just another practice round. These videos don't have any particular like format as far as I'm aware at the moment. I'm just trying to make music, I guess, and I'm gonna record all of it, and I'm just only gonna post the ones that are like somewhat interesting, but I'll always be recording myself making music. So understand that I might finish, and I don't even finish, but I might post maybe 5% of what I'm making. A lot of it is trial and error. Not everything works, and yeah, that's my workflow. A lot of it is happy accidents, so I want to like generate happy accidents, and hopefully I can learn a bit more about my workflow and just what I'm doing, and maybe you can too. Yeah, I'm not too sure, and I'll try not to ramble too much, but I definitely ramble. So this allows me to, rather than streaming, cut down the rambling when it starts to happen and to just save the important parts. If you guys would rather unedited rambling videos, I can do that too, but I don't think you want that. I'm currently using Ableton Push 3 to control Ableton Live. So you never need a controller or any hardware really. You just need headphones and a laptop, I think. But if you have something to interface with your DAW or instruments, that's a huge plus. Like, it's nice, just like this keyboard mode right here, just being able to play instruments like drums or whatever in, rather than like sequencing the MIDI. That can be helpful, and I recommend it. Also, apologies because I'm a bit stuffy right now. I'm getting over a cold, or sort of at the end of it. So yeah, I'm controlling Ableton with Push, and hopefully I'll get a camera set up at some point if I actually like bother continuing doing these videos. Yeah, hopefully I'll be able to describe what I'm doing and you'll be able to follow along. At the moment, I don't have too much in my set. I'm going to clear it up. I have no returns and one blank MIDI track. I'm going to start by, you know what, I'm gonna set up a return track, and I'm gonna try to not use too many plugins. Sorry if you can hear the dishwasher in the background. I'm gonna try to use more like stock plugins. So on my return track, I'm gonna add a reverb. I'm gonna just add a little pre-delay. I want a really long decay. I find it's easier to play instruments and get a feel for sounds if I have that. So, but here, I might adjust that. And because it's on a return track, I'm gonna make sure my dry wet's fully wet, because I don't need to duplicate my dry signal. So let's find an instrument or some sort of sound. I eventually want to create a bunch of presets of my own. I find it's easier. I don't really like a lot of the stock presets, because usually stock presets, I find, are good in the sense that they have things pre-mapped. So for example, when I press down harder and add more pressure on a MIDI instrument, it does something. It's mapped to something, and I can quickly change that. But often it feels like the presets are just sort of I don't know, it's a way of like showing off, like you're flexing that a synth can do something, or that it's like, oh, this is a feature, check it out. And it's not really like, it's impressive sometimes, or it's like, whoa, like you can do that, but it's not, I don't know, not something that really sounds good to me. It often is like too complicated and just sounds sort of like a preset. Whereas if you have more simple sounds that are designed for your purpose, that can be more fun. And I hate going through presets that I don't like. I find it's very jarring and annoying. I'm gonna try the new synth called Meld, included in Ableton Live 12, maybe just Sweet. I'm gonna use it in a pretty simple way, and I haven't really explored it too much, but off top it seems like there's two oscillators, but these oscillators seem to be a bit more complex than normal synths. You've got basic shapes, obviously, but you have swarm and things like that you can use these macros here to go through. Yeah, it's basically like a synth as your oscillator section going into another synth. Not a lot of synths that I know of have like a bubble bubble oscillator. That's like weird, right? I don't know when I would use it, but that serves as like a noise generator or like a texture oscillator. So like rain, crackle. Yeah, a bunch of different interesting sounds. Filtered noise, which usually you'd need to like have a noise oscillator going into a filter, but you can just start with that as your oscillator. And it pitch tracks, which is like sweet. First step that I'm gonna take today is I'm going to actually send this to my reverb. I want to hear a reverb. So much better. Don't need that much. Because it's a really long tail, I'm just gonna keep it relatively low. Still want to hear it a lot. I'm happy with that. It's temporary, I might not actually commit to it, but I want to hear it. Next thing I'm gonna do is go to the envelopes. I like release. I'm not very experienced with playing the push. I'd like to get better at it, and I will as I practice, but for now, bear with me. There will be some overuse of the slidey, sort of glidey MPE surface stuff. I should probably just talk about this in a video where I have a camera, but each pad, which is like a note, I can hit a bit to the right and it pitch bends up or down. So I can very easily play keys that are slightly out of tune by accident. Like that. So I might overdo that a bit and I might have to fix that or change my settings, but we'll see. Maybe a bit too much release. Instead of using a lot of release, I'm gonna take down the sustain. You can see this changing on the amp envelope. I'm gonna play with my decay. Okay, yeah, something like that. There's a bit of velocity enabled. I'm just using a sine wave, I think. It sounds like a sine wave. Maybe I'll use something more than a sine wave. I'll make it sound a bit more like a triangle. So I'm using a simple sound. I think meld sounds great. I think I've used drift before also, which is another Ableton one, and it sounds pretty damn good too. Ableton sounds pretty good now. There was a time where it did not sound so good. So I'm gonna just add some more effects because I'm self-conscious and cannot play that great, and I find it's helpful to hear myself through effects. The reverb gives me space, and the delays help me sort of keep time and get more of a rhythmic sort of feel. That way I don't need to base the track around drums first. I find that can be a bit annoying because drums take up a lot of, they can like get you stuck in a sort of grid or like a loop, or at least for me. Added delay, added reverb, using a basic sort of triangle sound. I think the synth sounds pretty good. Maybe I'll make it a bit more interesting, but this is like, yeah, a start. I'm gonna make this kind of a ping pong delay. Not too convinced by the sounds. Sounds like a FM. The tone knob. Oh, how about this? For my second oscillator, which I'm going to now enable, I'm going to maybe add something like a texture. Actually, before I do that, I'm going to go to, I think there's a drive built into this. And it's cool. With the higher notes, I like that da-da-da-da-da that I'm getting from the spread amount. It's probably an LFO. It's slower when I go to the lower notes and faster when I go higher. Cool. I'm gonna keep it for now. I'm gonna keep it not stacked because, for now. I want to layer the oscillator. I don't know if this is boring as fuck to listen to. Alright. That's kind of cool. It adds like attack. I don't really like how it's catching the delay, but it's pretty cool. You can add an attack with the tarp oscillator. You choose the decay. With short decay times, this is without it. That glide's gonna get real annoying real fast. Okay. I can live with the sound. definitely brighter than I'm used to using, but I like how that sounds like a bell of some sort almost. I'm gonna turn this delay a bit down. I think this is one of those videos that just don't. I think the idea here is I'm gonna scrap this and then restart. This doesn't always turn out. Especially like that. It doesn't. No, I don't want to hear that. I might take a break too. Something in there, maybe. There's a bit of a pause there when there shouldn't be. Let's see what that's on. 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Yeah. This chord, like right here, I think could be altered a bit, but I like this idea. I think there's something in here that I like. I'm going to take a break because the last idea was so bad. I just need a break, and it'd be like that sometimes. So I'll be back. I'm back after a rather long break. Hopefully these will like be easier to do the more I do it. It'd be fun to do this as a sort of challenge, at least 3 a week or something like that. This is where I was. Okay. I'm just gonna freeze this. I like working with audio. Well, both audio and MIDI have their upsides and downsides. Let's move this over for now. I'm fighting wires. Okay. I duplicated this pattern so I would get the tail leading in. I like how it kind of smears. So if I weren't to have duplicated it, it would have sounded like when it loops, which can be a cool effect, but I want to have the option to either have it do that or continue. So just as a, I'm going to start it like this. It's already quite detuned, but I'm gonna see if, yeah, so I went on envelopes here. Things are a bit different in Ableton 12, I'm still getting used to them, but there's the envelopes tab. I'm on complex warp, and down here there's clip, and I'm gonna select transposition. This kind of gives you like a transposition, kind of like grow speed a bit. This might not work, but we'll see. I think I'll like something like that somewhere. Maybe not right there, we'll see. I'm gonna duplicate this. Right now my idea is gonna be, this is sort of like an intro, and then I want it to develop here. I'm gonna make a, delete that. I'm really stuffed right now, oh my god. Do this, and I'm going to just create another layer. Let's see. I just transposed it up an octave. I'm on beats mode now. I was on complex earlier, but sending it to the reverb a bit. I might be repeating myself, but it's a good trick I find to start listening from the very start. A lot of my ideas are just like, they end up being just like a little loop, and that builds off of the loop. But today I'm going to sort of arrange as I go. Listening from the start allows you to realize if you are hearing something too long, like repeating it too much, or if it feels like it needs to go somewhere, or if this part might be too loud compared to this, or too quiet. And I'll only hear that if I start from the start. some timing issues because I just played that randomly, but I like something about it. I have not quantized anything in this before, really. I mean, that's a lie, but... Nah, too much, too much. I want to create a variation, maybe. I like the looping, but... Am I just redoing the same thing that I think I did? I'm doing the same melody. I don't like how it's like very matter of fact, the dee-doo. But I do like it, but no. It's too spoon-fed. It's a maybe to this note, but I'm not too sure, so I'm gonna just do that to remind myself. Oh yeah, sorry, it's hard to remind myself to talk while I do this. So yeah, I have this melody idea that I just played out and captured. Thank God for capture. I duplicated meld again, and now I have another layer. I'm gonna try to keep this one simple, not overdo this anymore. But I'm gonna see if I can just bring it up. I brought it up an octave again. Oh, it's way too high. I can bring it lower. I'm gonna try to offset it a bit, see if that sounds any good. I like this EQ. If you have a Mac, you have this EQ. You have to search up like AU graphic. It's the audio unit stuff that comes with it. What's cool about it is you can bring everything down and select. So if I wanted just like this, so it becomes like a weird band passy sort of. I just like the and I wanted to go back to a simple and I'll do that again. And you know what? For this one, I don't think I'm going to bring that melody back in. I think I want it to just happen and that be it. And, you know, a lot of the time you'd see something like that happening maybe on the second one, but I just think I might like it here. I'm going to listen to it all the way through. I might mute this note. And also another thing is these drops. So I'm going to do this real quick, but these cuts aren't necessary. I think I might be overdoing. Reminds me a bit more of like a loop, like a tape loop, or like something that's like you're manipulating the sample. You're not just like playing the MIDI over and over. It reminds you it's like, oh, it stopped at the end and it restarted. So like I muted this real like small part, but I don't think I should do 2 in a row. Okay, so I like this right here, but when it stops, you can hear the reverb tail. I don't want to hear the reverb tail, so a quick way of doing that is, yeah, I want to get rid of this tail, that reverb, so it really feels like it stops and then starts again. I could just automate the master volume, or I could just automate the reverb volume, like the faders, but in order to A/B, I'm going to use a utility plugin, right? Bam. I'm going to put that on the master just because I might use it in other places. And I'm just going to select the parameter that I want to automate, which is the gain. I'm going to hit A. There's other ways of doing that. You can click here. And I'm just going to make sure that's selected. Open this up. This is the lane that I'm automating in. And I'm holding shift and I'm just going to drag down. And you see when my cursor's here, it's at 0, it's at unity, it's letting everything through, and then bam, I get to this zone, the gain's like all low, and then I go back and it's up again. So I automated the gain to go down. And the beauty of that is that I can just, if I want to test it, I can just disable this utility, and so that's without it, and this is with it. I think I like it. So I just duplicated, I just copy pasted the ending part because I wanted to end. Yeah, I don't know. I like this. I'm not gonna add drums, I think, right now. Most of what I do is like melody stuff. I might add a 808 or like some bass into my things. I do drums, but I find my drums are usually like better when I take a break and I bounce out the melody, and then I start thinking about like, because this is like an idea. Once it's bounced out, I can then like change the timing. Like right now it's at 202 BPM, which is really 101. It's like double timed, which is kind of odd, but it's because I wasn't looking at it. I'm just kind of doing whatever. Yeah, I like being able to slow things down, speed them up, or pitch them around, maybe reverse it, chop it up again. And I don't like working with instrument MIDI, I find, when I'm doing drums. I don't like having my instrumental in MIDI or with effects. I like having it like concrete and like cooked in, baked in. And I also like, yeah, taking a step back and then thinking about drums. Sometimes I'll use the drums as my like metronome, but generally I find drums are kind of like, I have a hard time with drums. Bass is easier to put in, I find, than drums, but it all depends. I'm gonna listen all the way through one more time and just, yeah. This part might sound good with like another delay on it, so I'm just gonna that kind of delay as opposed to this time. I'm gonna listen all the way through from the start, and I'm gonna check the level of it and overall the level of everything else. Okay, so the main thing I've noticed is these parts in blue I want to be quieter. So I could just adjust the clip gain here, make them more quiet at this part. I could also just, there's a number of ways I could automate it and stuff, but because it's a small project, I'm just going to duplicate all of this, delete this, and set this, bringing it down, bring this down, and now I can just do like -2, maybe -1.5. So that way it's distinct. This way I don't even need to have it color coded. I just want these parts to be heavier, and really this ending part I want it to be heavier too, so it's like a bit more quiet now. Could probably go a bit quieter than that too. And it's like all in, but not really that in, but you know. And might as well, just for having it while I'm here, I'm gonna duplicate this, unfreeze it, and oh, well, if I was lazy, I'll be lazy. Laziness wins. Like this. Oops. So now we have like a bass, just the first notes, but Let's see. Doesn't sound right to me, but oh, that could be fun. Doing like a sorry, dog whistle. Something like that. One thing I've learned is that sometimes you just need to bring up the velocity of the lower notes or lower the velocity of the higher notes, because the higher notes will, just the way we perceive sound, higher notes are brighter and we're more sensitive to those, you know, brighter sounds, and they poke out a little bit more. I want these low notes to stick out enough, so that's okay. It's a bit brighter. I want this one to really, it's not hitting the way I want it, like, so I'm gonna it'd be fun to use the octave of that. Honestly, it could be fun to use the octave of all of them, but let's see. It's just, maybe this won't be a good, like a great idea, but we'll see. We'll see. I honestly don't like the way that it's going from this part to this part. I can't really hear the pitch of those notes. I know I like something down there, longer notes, but I'm just gonna pitch it up so I can hear. Like that. And I do this because the release is going to continue the note, and I don't want it to be too wobbly down there. Let's do resample on the master. So I'm going to resample these two guys. Just move this up here. Actually, I'll move all this down. This might sound like shit. I don't think it needs this. There's a lot of looping and stuff here, but at the end of the day, it's just a 1 minute and 30 long song. This part could loop. I find it's hard to arrange stuff without vocals. I wish I had vocalists to work with. Like, depending on what's going on, this could go here. Kind of like that. I'm sure there's a faster way of doing this, but there's definitely a faster way of doing this. So I want it to go low octave, high octave, and this is low. This is gonna be the higher. It's gonna let's see if this works. So like kind of like that. There's definitely a way easier way of doing this, but or like smarter way, but that's enough of that. Okay. Hope my levels were okay. And I'm not even going to use a limiter. I'm not even going to bring it up. Alright. Cool. I recorded myself making this thing, and it's, whatever it is, it's done. It's been exported to a folder with my beats in it, or my ideas, and it is right here. Nice. Now I can just keep it on my hard drive and not do anything with it ever again. Yep, thanks for checking this out. I hope that there was something interesting to grasp here. I hope I will be able to edit it down into something that is not 2 hours long. It's going to be a bit of an exercise for me to edit it down. If you guys have any like suggestions as to how to edit it down, or if you want the full length thing, which I think is a bit ridiculous, I sure as hell don't have time to watch myself do that for another hour. But yeah, let me know. I hope I'll do a few more of these, or just continue to do them, because it's a good practice. It gives me some sort of structure and some sort of output. you know, maybe it's not the beats or the ideas, but it is maybe the videos about making the beats. So yeah, thank you.